Okay, so hello everyone. I just wanted to make a really quick video to go over what we did today, or more so what we did not do, and to just take a general look at what's going on in the market and what we could look forward to this week. This is a 6-month chart of the SPY, which is the ETF that tracks the SPX. But let me get the actual SPX up there, because that's what we'll be looking at. It's just loading here. Okay, here we are. So this is a chart that I've been showing you for several weeks now, and this is the level that I've been putting on this chart for several weeks now. Let me just put it right there for you. Here. And I've been saying all along that this is the channel that we're in, and that if we came down to this channel and tested it and then traded higher, it would be a buy signal. It would be a signal to go in and buy the dip right there, just like it was here and here and here and here. But as you can see, we broke below the channel here and we actually closed below it today. And I've been saying for many weeks now that if we did close below the channel, that we'd be in some trouble, that we'd possibly see some follow through to the downside, more selling perhaps down to this level, down to the 2050 level. It's still very early. We still have to watch and see what happens tomorrow, because there's a strong possibility that we could see a rally to try to retest this level here, just the bottom of the channel, and run some stops there and try to get people panicked out of the trade. But we closed below the level here, so it's a different ball game now, and we're just looking to see what happens next. As I said, we could see a rally. We could see an attempt to retest the bottom of the range here, so we just have to keep our eyes open. Okay. Now in terms of this week's list, I had some trades sent out yesterday. Let's start with the first one, which was Celgene, CELG. This is a chart of Celgene here. I'm gonna go in intraday and use the 15-minute chart. It's loading here. Okay, so this is a 15-minute chart of Celgene. As you can see, it triggered pretty early in the day. We had a trigger price of 109.05. It triggered pretty quickly in the day, pretty hard, ran up and then faded. I did see the trigger, and normally I would send out the trade. We would get in and take this trade, but after it triggered, well, before it even triggered, there's a lot of rumors about Merck, MRK, possibly taking over Celgene. So when it triggered, it actually triggered on that rumor. I really don't like to buy rumors because they usually fade, and that is exactly what happened here. We would have gotten our trigger somewhere around here, and then gotten long, and then only to have it fade. So we did not take Celgene, and simply because I do not buy rumors. So we kind of dodged the bullet there. Okay. The next trade on the list was KMI. It's loading. This is post-market. I'm using post-market data, so it's the post-market data is a lot slower than the intraday data. So the charts are taking a while to load. So yeah. So we had a trigger price of 40.80 on KMI. We hit a high of 40.69, so we had no trigger there. It's still in play. If we get a trigger and some follow through, we'll be in this trade sometime this week. But it hit a high of 40.80 this morning, and 40.69, sorry, and backed off, so it did not trigger. Our trigger price was 40.80, so no trade there in KMI. But it's still in play, and we will look at it again later this week. The next trade on the list was Apple, AAPL. Apple had a very interesting day because, as you know, today was the WWDC, the Worldwide Development Conference that Apple has every year. So the stock was in the news pretty much all day. We had a trigger price of 129.45. It did hit a high of 129.21. That's no trigger for us, so no trade for us. So we just did not take Apple. It did fade, trade lower today. Got some news late in the afternoon and tried to rally, but no go for Apple, 129.45. Again, this trade is still in play. If it triggers sometime this week, then we'll take it. The next trade on the list was Qihu. That's Qihu, the Chinese internet company. It's loading. Once again, I'm using post-market data here, so it's a bit slower. And in addition to that, I'm actively uploading some trades for tomorrow, so my whole system is moving a bit slower than usual. We did have Qihu with a trigger price of 62.05. This one triggered and triggered pretty good, triggered hard, but I did not take the trade because I did not like the spreads on the options. The spreads were at one point like $100 wide. So the market makers were trying to make a big buck there, and it's their right to do so. I have no problem with them trying to make their money, but I did not want to pay up. I didn't want to play with $100 spread. There's a lot of gaming, a lot of slippage that could take place in that wide spread, so I just decided not to take it. The way I approach this thing is that it's my money. I am deciding to pull the trigger on the trade. And if the conditions are not right for me, I'm just not going to do it. I did not like the spreads on the Qihu options today, so that's why I did not take it, despite the fact that it triggered pretty hard and gave a good run in the early part of the day and gave us that nice flush that we were looking for. We had a trigger price of 62.05 to go short, triggered nicely and gave a nice day. But again, the spreads on the options were very wide, and I felt that it was not wise to play with those wide spreads, so I did not take the Qihu trade. We had NAV as the next trade on the list. Another trade that we were looking to go short by taking puts. The trigger price on NAV was 23.50, and it's loading here. Okay, the trigger price on NAV was 23.50. We had a low of 23.58, so it did not trigger for us. It did not get to our trigger price, and there's a good reason it did not too, because it came down in this area of support here. As you can see, this is big support here. It came down into this level of support here and held and rallied, so it did not trigger for us. Our trigger price was 23.50. It came to 23.58 and turned around, so no go, no game. And that's why it's good to pay attention to the trigger price. The trigger price, when a trade triggers, it basically tells you that, look, it's okay to go ahead and take the trade. All the conditions are right. If a trade does not trigger, it means that the conditions are not right, so we should not take that trade. So that's why we pay attention to the trigger prices, and that's why I put so much work and effort into calculating the trigger prices to make sure we get in at a price that's advantageous to us. We're looking at a chart here of HCP. We had a trigger price of 37.05 on HCP to go short. Again, we had a low of 37.08, so it came within 3 cents of our trigger and turned around. Once again, no go, no trade. It did not trigger. Basically says the conditions to go short are not there, so do not go short. And that's what happened. We did not get a trigger on HCP today. The next trade on the list was UA. It's loading here. UA Under Armour. Okay, this is UA Under Armour. We were looking to go long with a trigger above 82.10. We did get a trigger on this one. We had a high of 82.13, which is 3 cents above the trigger price of 82.10. But I did not take this trade because I did not see signs of follow through. I needed to see at least a 10-cent close above the trigger price. So if our trigger price is 82.10, I want to see the price get up to at least 82.20 and close there for that session, for that particular bar. And then that would confirm that conditions are okay and I could go ahead. This one hit 82.13 today and technically triggered and then failed almost immediately. So I did not take this trade because I did not see signs of follow through. It's important to look for confirmation and follow through on the trigger prices. And the best way to do that is to allow for an extra 10 cents or 15 cents above the trigger price. It's also based on the stock, because obviously if it's a stock with low spreads that moves in a particular band, then it will be a smaller confirmation or follow through determination. If it's a wider stock that trades like $1 a tick, then obviously you have to look for $1 and so on. But in this case, we had a trigger price of 82.10. It hit 82.13. Did not show signs of follow through. I did not see a close above that 82.10, so we did not take this trade. Okay, and before I move on, let me say that all these trades on the list, even though they did not trigger, they're still in play for the week. If we do get triggers later on this week and the conditions look right and we do see follow through, we will take these trades. Okay, now we still have Dow, DOW. We still own the July 55 calls on DOW. The stock did sell off today with the market, and we're still holding this position. As you can see here, on a daily basis, it was a bit oversold, so I'm not surprised that we did get knocked down. We're still holding in there, still not stopped out, and I'm thinking we could see a retracement tomorrow, just based on the overall price action. This that you're seeing here is actually the 15-minute chart. If we go to the daily chart, let's take a look at Dow on the daily. Okay, you can see at this level it was technically overbought here, and I did point that out last week. So naturally we're having it back off a little bit here, but it should hold this support right here, this area right here, just above this large base. It should hold, and then we could see another retracement, another move to the upside on DOW. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. We did get out of the CYBR trade today. We had CYBR June 70 calls that we picked up on Friday, late Friday, and it triggered nicely today and gave us a nice exit at 350. So it was a pretty good trade, and we're looking for more of these throughout the week. I'll be adding more trades as we go throughout the week. As I speak now, I'm uploading some trades into the system, which is why my charts are moving slow. But I'll have those trades ready for us this week. We did not take any trades today, did not pull the trigger today, but there will be other trades. We still have 4 days to go in the week, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful trading week. So that's it for now, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.